All eyes are on the Rajasthan High Court this morning. It's likely to pronounce its verdict on the Speaker's disqualification notice and Sachin Pilot's plea today. Rajasthan sacked Deputy Chief Minister Sachin Pilot and 18 other rebel MLAs have challenged the Assembly Speaker's move to disqualify them. The hearing in the High Court is expected to start at 10:30 in the morning, and the proceedings will be chaired by Justice Indrajit Mahanti and Justice Prakash Gupta. During the hearing on 21st July, High Court had barred Rajasthan Speaker CP Joshi from taking action against Pilot and 18 other rebel MLAs. The hearing in the High Court today comes a day after a temporary reprieve from the Supreme Court to the Pilot camp. That's till Monday. It's likely that following the High Court's decision, Chief Minister Gehlot will do a floor test in the Rajasthan Assembly. Chief Minister Gehlot has maintained that his government, excluding rebels, enjoys the majority in the House. Now, there was a temporary breather for the Sachin Pilot camp in the Rajasthan power game as the Supreme Court refused to restrain the Rajasthan High Court from actually passing an order on the Pilot camp's plea. The hearing in the top court has been put off till Monday. The Congress, meanwhile, hit out at the centre over raids on Chief Minister Gehlot's aides.
Another setback for the Congress in Rajasthan. The Speaker's petition against the High Court order delaying action on disqualification notices sent to Congress rebels is put off for Monday. The Supreme Court refused to restrain the High Court from passing an order on the plea by the Pilot camp. During the hearing, the SC bench asked Speaker's counsel if voices of dissent in a democracy can be silenced. The court also held the High Court's final order will be subject to its own proceedings. While the legal battle goes on, the central agencies continue to swoop down on people and firms linked to Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot. The Enforcement Directorate has issued fresh summons to Ratan Kant Sharma, a business partner of Gehlot's son. Sources say Triton Hotels and Resorts promoted by Sharma sold its shares worth 40 rupees to the Mauritius-based Shivnar Holding Limited at a rate of 40,000 rupees. ED is now probing the case. The summons came a day after Chief Minister Gehlot's brother, Agrasen Gehlot, was raided in an alleged 150 crore rupees fertilizer scam dating back to 2007. The Congress has accused the BJP of raid raj. Former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram sarcastically said the ED deserves to be elevated to a separate ministry.
देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी तो पहले दिन से जब से वो सत्ता में आई है तो तमाम ऐसी संस्थाओं का वो इस्तेमाल कर रही है अपने राजनीतिक लाभ के लिए। राजस्थान में भी वही तरीका अपनाया गया जो दूसरे राज्यों में अपनाया गया। अगर पैसा लेके तैयार हो गए तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, तो उनका स्वागत है, और अगर उन्होंने पैसा लेने से इनकार कर दिया, रिश्वत लेने से इनकार कर दिया, तो उन पर छापे पड़ते हैं।
The Gehlot government too has hit back. The state's Anti-Corruption Bureau has got the go-ahead from a Jaipur local court to investigate Union Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat over his alleged role in the 884 crore Sanjeevani Credit Cooperative Society scam. The matter has been under probe since last year. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's get you the latest numbers in the coronavirus crisis. First, looking at the nationwide numbers from the Health Ministry, the number of cases stands now at 12,38,635. You've got 29,861 deaths so far reported in India. We're also telling you the three worst affected states. In Maharashtra, the number of cases stands at 3,37,607 with the death toll at 12,556. Over to the latest figures from Tamil Nadu, where 1,86,492 cases, these are confirmed cases, have come to light. The death toll stands at 3,144. In the national capital, 1,26,323 cases have been reported so far, with 3,719 deaths. That makes the national capital the third worst affected. These numbers will be updated in a few hours from now by the Health Ministry, with the figures that have come in really in the last 24 hours. Let's get you the latest from the second worst affected state in the country, that's Tamil Nadu, where the government is under fire for allegedly hiding the COVID death toll in Chennai and also in other parts of the state. Now, the health department has revised the death toll, adding 444 new deaths to the coronavirus toll. This came after a panel recommended the same, saying that several deaths were not accounted for.
Was the Tamil Nadu government underreporting deaths? Or was it just a computation error? India Today's expose forced the Death Reconciliation Committee to sift through data of 102 hospitals in Chennai and cross-checked it with figures obtained from cremation and burial grounds in Chennai. On 21st July, the death toll in Chennai was 1,475, and on 22nd July, it shot up to 1,939. The mortality rate, which was shown at 1%, shot up to 2.7% in Chennai. The government claims that the deaths added to the list were of those patients who had tested positive posthumously.
Burial ground figures which we collect from the corporation and the figures which get notified through DPH in the press releases, it was found that certain deaths, according to doctors, was not COVID, but they were also COVID positive. In certain cases, the person has come to hospital brought death.
With pressure mounting on the AIADMK government from quarters, the state government has decided to make permanent the Death Reconciliation Committee.
Every Friday we will all be sitting together and this reconciliation will happen on a 5 to 6 day basis again and again. So this kind of delay will be completely avoided in the future so that instant addition or instant deletion can happen on an almost real-time basis.
The DMK has demanded an apology from the Chief Minister for allegedly hiding data on deaths due to COVID-19.
இப்போது 444 மரணங்கள் வெளியில் வந்துள்ளன. இன்னும் இதுபோல் எத்தனை மரணங்கள் மறைக்கப்பட்டதோ என்ற சந்தேகமும் இருக்கிறது. கொரோனா மரணத்தைப் போல கொரோனா கால ஊழல்களும் விரைவில் வெளிச்சத்திற்கு வரும். ஒரு கொள்ளை நோயை வைத்து கொள்ளையடித்துக் கொண்டிருக்கும் கொள்ளை கூட்டத்தை வைரஸை போல விரட்டுவதற்கு சூளுரைப்போம்.
The opposition is now also questioning the figures coming out from elsewhere in the state.
If the discrepancy in the city of Chennai in April and May, when the death counts were small and easily trackable, if the discrepancy was 63% back then itself, what is it now?
Social activists have also slammed the AIADMK government.
This reconciliation committee in Chennai alone has found 444 deaths. Now this has taken the tally in Chennai alone to 1,939 deaths. There was a consistent effort to cover up the COVID deaths.
If this is the situation in the state capital Chennai, what about the other districts in the state? Other numbers coming in from the other districts underreported as well. The video journalist Divyan Rajkumar, this is Shalini Lobo in Chennai with Akshay Nath for India Today.
Now, amid the entire row over the death toll in Tamil Nadu, the number of COVID cases continue to surge, not just in Tamil Nadu, but several other south states like Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh as well. Tamil Nadu reported the highest single-day spike with over 6,400 new cases, taking its total close to over 1,86,000. The state reported also 88 deaths on Thursday. This takes its death toll to 3,144. In Chennai, the number of cases that were reported in the last 24 hours is 1,336. It's come down when you compare it to previous weeks when number of cases always went above the 2,000 mark. In Chennai alone, the number of cases stands at 90,900 with 1,947 deaths. What remains a worry, however, are the districts in Tamil Nadu where now cases seem to be surging. Let's also get you the latest from the state of Karnataka, where again there was a huge jump in COVID-19 cases. The state reported the highest single-day spike with over 5,000 new cases and 97 deaths. Bengaluru reported over 2,200 new cases on Thursday. In fact, state's total stands close to 75,000 cases with over 1,500 deaths. Another state where the numbers are worrying is that of Andhra Pradesh. A highest single-day spike of close to 8,000 cases and 61 deaths have been reported. You see that graph on your screens, which shows how there's been such a surge in the last few days in the number of cases. This means that the total cases in Andhra Pradesh stands at 64,713 with 884 deaths. Amid the spike in COVID-19 cases in Karnataka, Congress has taken on the BSY government over the prices of ventilators in the state. Former Chief Minister Siddaramaiah accused the state government of indulging in corruption in the purchase of ventilators, saying that they were bought at a much higher rate than what is the current rate in the country. Now, the BJP, meanwhile, has refuted all of these charges. Here's a report on the political fight.
First, it was claims of alleged mismanagement of the coronavirus crisis by the Yediyurappa government in Karnataka. Now the opposition is charging the BJP government with multi-crore corruption in COVID-related purchases. The Congress has come out with a list of spendings where it says a 2,000 crore rupees scam took place. Since the start of the pandemic, the opposition says the BSY government has purchased equipment at inflated prices. According to the Congress, the government has spent around 4,100 crore so far on COVID-19 equipment. The Congress claims that while Tamil Nadu purchased ventilators at 4.78 lakh rupees per ventilator, and the same is available at 4 lakh rupee under the PM CARES fund, Karnataka paid between 5 lakh and 18 lakh rupees.
When you are so clear, why are you not allowing Public Accounts Committee to function? Why are you stopping them? You are telling that you are going to give everything. When a minister, deputy CM can't answer, why is allowing the officers to speak?
The opposition has demanded a judicial inquiry into the purchases.
They are telling that they have spent only 324 crores. But according to me, the government has spent more than 4,000 crores, in which nearly 2,000 crores is misappropriated. It has gone to the pockets of ministers, officers, and all that.
The Yediyurappa government has rubbished the corruption charges. The BJP has placed on record data of ventilator purchase during 2019 when the Congress JDS were in power.
Information has been already provided by the government. We have come out very clear about how it has been spent. We are very clear about it.
The BSY government also said that till date it has spent only 2,117 crore on COVID needs. The BJP has also said it is ready for any scrutiny of all accounts and will place every document before the assembly. With Nolan Pinto in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
The state of Maharashtra continues to remain one of the worst hit states, with nearly 10,000 cases being reported yesterday alone. 9,800 cases, to be exact, were reported on this day, with 298 deaths. The total number of cases in the state has now crossed the 3,37,000 mark, and the death toll has topped 12,500. Financial capital Mumbai reported over 1,200 new COVID cases with 55 deaths, taking its total number of cases close to 1,06,000 and with 5,930 deaths. Amid the rising cases, Maharashtra Health Minister Rajesh Tope has said that the government is mulling for a way to open malls and gyms in the state.
किस तरह से हम संक्रमण न होते हुए हमारा वर्कआउट किया जाए, ये देखने की ज़रूरत है। तो उसके जो SOPs है, वो SOPs हम प्रॉपरली वर्कआउट करके हम जिम्नाशियम और अन्य जो एक्सरसाइज की सुविधा है वो शुरू करेंगे। मॉल्स के हद तक हो या तुम्हारे स्विमिंग टैंक्स और जिम्नाशियम के हद तक हो, ये सभी निर्णय आने वाले दिनों में 100% है कि अनलॉकिंग होने वाला है। अभी उसमें ढील ही दी जाएगी। लॉकिंग जो लॉकडाउन के नियमों में अनलॉकिंग का ही काम होते रहेगा। तो हमारी कोशिश ये रहेगी कि जल्द से जल्द ये शुरू हो।
And amid the coronavirus crisis, let's get you also the silver lining. India's third largest red light district in Pune has not reported a single case of coronavirus in the last 110 days. This has come as a huge respite for Pune authorities who once believed that Budwarpet would see a huge spike in COVID-19 cases. Pune was the first city that reported 3 COVID cases in Maharashtra. In fact, sex workers at Budwarpet, who have been hit hard due to the lockdown, hailed the police and NGOs for constantly helping them during this crisis. India Today went to ground zero to bring you voices that often go unheard.
So Pune city has become the hotspot of corona positive patients. But you will be surprised to know that the red light area since beginning, that is since last 110 days, this area hasn't had any positive patients, and for this we have to applaud, we have to appreciate the efforts taken by these social workers as well as the sex workers in this area, that they have stopped their business since last 110 days. With Cameron Gopal Harne, this Pankaj Khelkar in Pune for India Today.
Let's get you the latest from the state of Bihar that's battling floods. Around 4.6 lakh people have been affected in the state, and about 25,000 people from 18 villages have been forced to flee their homes and are taking shelter in relief camps. Bihar's Saharsa district is one of the worst hit as Kosi River's water has entered district villages. Let's get you this ground report.
Submerged houses, roads swept away, villages completely cut off. Bihar's flood misery is unending.
Kosi River is in full spate at this point of time, and whichever side you can see, you can only witness pictures of devastation that has been caused because of rising level of Kosi. And where I'm standing right now, this is the Murli village, which falls under the Mahishi block in Saharsa district of Bihar, and you can see how the water level has been rising constantly in this area.
ये हालात एक हफ्ता से है, तबाही और बर्बादी के सिवा कुछ नहीं। ये मुख्य सड़क टूट चुका है और ये अभियंता की गलतियां थी, जहां पुल नहीं पड़ा। सारे गांव में तबाही है, बड़ी नाव नहीं है, डेंगी नाव से सारे लोग यहां से आर पार करके मुख्यालय को जाते हैं।
इस सड़क पे पानी कब से आ गया?
ये इस सड़क पर पानी करीब एक हफ्ता से है।
People in Murli village of Sahasra district have nowhere to go. Their homes are flooded, but they cannot leave for safer grounds as the village road has caved in.
बाल बच्चा सब जो है पानी में डूब के निकला है, ना कोई व्यवस्था है, क्या करेंगे? पानी इतना बह रहा है, कहाँ जाएगा बच्चे?
On Wednesday morning, Ramvilas Sada woke up to find his house inundated. Sada's only hope is that government agencies are able to reach the village to rescue his family.
लगभग 3 साल से हालात है, अभी जो है 10 रोज से।
हर साल मतलब 3 साल से हमेशा
ऐसा ही होता है। नहीं,
इस बार कब से आपके गांव में या आपके घर में पानी भरा?
ये करीब 10 रोज से पानी भरा हुआ है।
मदद करने के लिए आता है कोई सरकारी आदमी?
कोई देखने वाला नहीं मुखिया है, नहीं कोई है, नहीं सदस्य है, कुछ नहीं कर सकता है।
It's not just the rains, but also water released from Nepal that has created the floods. The Kosi River is rising menacingly after 3 lakh cusecs of water was released by Nepal, threatening to breach more embankments. The situation in districts like Sahasra and Supol is only worsening. With Rohit Kumar Singh in Patna, Bureau Report, India Today.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.